Welcome, everyone. When dating younger women, not all, older men are created equal. Some exude confidence, presence, and self-assurance, making them incredibly attractive. Others, however, unknowingly sabotage themselves by falling into habits that make them seem desperate, out of touch, or insecure. The truth is, age itself is not the problem. An older man doesn't turn women off. They're turned off by an older man who tries too hard, lacks self-awareness, or refuses to evolve. And the worst part, most men don't even realize they're making these. Habit number 1. Trying too hard to look young. Mistakes in today's video, we're breaking down 7 key behaviors that instantly make an older man unattractive to younger women. If you're serious about dating younger, high-quality women, this is a conversation you cannot afford to miss. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you'll know exactly what to avoid, and more importantly, what to do instead to naturally command attention and attraction. Let's get started. The difference between an attractive and an unattractive older man. There are 2 types of older men in the dating world. Those who effortlessly draw the attention of younger women, and those who repel them without even realizing why. The difference is in looks, presence, self-awareness, and energy. The attractive older man does not chase youth. He embodies maturity. He is confident, self. Assured and grounded in his own experiences, he does not try to fit into a younger woman's world. He lets her step into his. His life is already whole, his purpose well-defined, and his sense of self unshaken. This presence is magnetic because it offers something younger. Men, habit number 2, acting superior or condescending, often lack depth, wisdom, and emotional stability. In contrast, the unattractive older man tries too hard to keep up with the younger crowd. He mimics their slang, adopts their trends, and forces himself into spaces where he does not naturally belong. Instead of exuding confidence, he seeks validation, hoping that he will become more desirable by acting younger. But this approach backfires women, sense inauthenticity instantly when a man tries to be someone he is not. He loses the quiet strength that makes him truly attractive. Instead of admiration, he inspires second-hand embarrassment. An older man's age does not repel younger women. His desperation repels them to deny it. A man who owns his years, who embraces his maturity rather than running from it, is far more compelling than one who clings to an identity that no longer fits. Authenticity is the foundation of attraction. A man who carries himself with quiet assurance, who does not try to impress, but instead allows his presence to speak for itself, commands attention in any room he enters. Many older men make the mistake of assuming that youth habit number 3, over-talking. Past. Experiences alone is the source of attraction. They believe younger women must match that energy at all costs because they are drawn to energy and excitement. But attraction does not come from pretending to be younger. It comes from embodying a level of confidence and presence that younger men have yet to develop. A man who understands this does not feel the need to prove himself. He does not chase, he does not overcompensate, and he certainly does not beg for attention. He knows that his presence alone is enough. When combined with genuine self-assurance, when a younger woman loses interest quickly, it is often because the man has unknowingly made one of the common mistakes that signal insecurity. Perhaps he seeks too much reassurance, constantly asking if she is still interested. Maybe he changes his personality to match hers, abandoning his identity to be what he thinks she wants. Or perhaps he places her on a pedestal, acting as if she is doing him a favor by spending time with him. None of these behaviors inspire attraction. Women are drawn to men who own their values, not men who seek permission to be worthy. The most attractive older men understand. They do not need to compete with younger men or chase youth. Instead, they embrace what sets them apart: maturity, confidence, and a life well lived, they do not need to prove. Habit number 4, being too eager or needy their worth, because they already know it, and that certainty that quiet strength makes them truly irresistible. Now let's come to 7 habits that make girls quickly leave you. 1 complaining about modern women like, it's a personality trait, a man who constantly laments the state of modern dating, who fixates on how things used to be better, who blames feminism or social media for his romantic struggles, is not the kind of man women find attractive. He may think he sounds insightful like a wise observer of societal decline, but to women, he comes across as bitter and powerless. No one is drawn to a man who sees himself as a victim of forces beyond his control. Women do not desire a man who resents them. They want a man who understands them and navigates the modern dating landscape with confidence instead of frustration. Apparent a man who possesses wealth in every sense, not just financially, but in character, experience, and depth, never needs to prove it. He lets the world and the women he attracts discover it independently. And in that quiet confidence, he holds more power than any amount of money ever could, 3 trying to act young instead of owning your age. Nothing is more unattractive than a man desperately clinging to youth. Not because youth is valuable, but because the attempt reveals insecurity. A man who tries too hard to appear young does not come across as youthful. He comes across as uncertain of his worth. Women do not seek older men because they want someone who acts like their younger counterparts. They are drawn to older men for what younger men cannot offer. Depth, wisdom, and the quiet confidence that only comes with experience when a man discards these traits in a misguided attempt to appear youthful. He erases the very things that make him desirable in the first place. This mistake manifests in obvious ways. A man in his 40s or 50s wearing sneakers designed for teenagers, oversized hoodies, or a backward cap does not look stylish. He seems like he is chasing an identity that no longer belongs to him. Language is another giveaway. A man awkwardly forcing modern slang into conversation, dropping no cap or overusing internet jargon does not sound relevant. He sounds like he is trying too hard. And then there is behaviour. The older man who insists on frequenting nightclubs full of 20-year-olds and who surrounds himself with people half his age to blend in does not appear more youthful. He seems out of place. The irony is that a man's greatest asset as he ages is the very thing he tries to discard. His maturity, a well-dressed man who embraces classic and timeless style, commands more respect and attention than a man desperately mimicking trends. A man who speaks with depth, articulating his thoughts with intelligence and poise, is infinitely more compelling than one forcing himself into the latest social media fad, and a man who cultivates his environment, who creates a space that naturally draws people in, never has to chase youth because youth gravitates toward him. Consider men who have remained desirable well into their later years. Sean Connery never pretended to be 25, yet he was a sex symbol in his 60s. He did not chase trends, he embodied timeless masculinity. His confidence did not come from imitating youth, but from embracing his identity fully. This is the secret most men fail to understand. Women are not attracted to age or youth, but to how a man carries himself within it. When a man stops trying to fit into a younger man's world, and instead wholly owns his presence, he shifts the dynamic. He is no longer seeking validation, he is offering something rare, a sense of certainty that only comes from knowing who he is, and that more than anything is what makes him irresistible. For acting like, everything, confidence draws women in, but arrogance pushes them away. A man who exudes certainty in himself, speaks with conviction, and remains open to different perspectives is undeniably attractive. But the moment that confidence turns into a rigid need to be correct, something shifts. The conversation no longer feels like an exchange. It feels like a lecture. Instead of being engaged, she feels like a student in his classroom. She might smile politely and nod in agreement, but inside she pulls away. Women do not seek men who correct them at every turn. They seek men who respect their intelligence and treat their thoughts as valuable even when disagreeing. There is a difference between knowing something and needing others to know that you know it. A truly confident man is not urged to prove himself in every conversation. He does not dominate discussions with facts and figures or interrupts to showcase his superior knowledge. He understands that the purpose of a conversation, especially with a woman, is not to win. It is to connect. When a man acts like he knows everything, he unintentionally builds a wall between himself and the woman before him. Instead of inviting her into a dialogue, he forces her into the role of an observer. And when a woman feels unheard, like her words are merely opportunities for him to display his expertise, attraction fades. Imagine two men on a date. Upon hearing her opinion on a topic, the first man immediately jumps in to correct her. He lays out the facts, explains why she is mistaken, and speaks as if he is educating her. He believes he is impressing her and showing her his intelligence, but he does not see how she subtly withdraws and how her excitement dims. Now picture the second man when she shares her thoughts. He listens. He does not interrupt or rush to assert his knowledge. If he disagrees, he engages not to prove her wrong, but with genuine curiosity, he asks questions, explores her perspective, and allows the conversation to flow naturally with him. She feels heard with him. She feels valued, and that is where attraction grows. A woman does not want a prof, subtly restricting her independence in reality. He is broadcasting his fear that if she has too much freedom, she will realize she no longer wants him, and that fear, more than anything, is what drives her away. At first, possessiveness can be mistaken for affection. A woman might find it sweet when a man asks her to text, when she gets home, or when he casually inquires about who she spends time with. But over time, these gestures escalate. The simple check-ins turn into demands. The innocent questions become interrogations. Why didn't you answer my call immediately? Who were you with? I don't trust your friends. Each time he tightens his grip. She feels her independence slipping away, and with it, her attraction to him. What once felt like interest now feels like control. What once felt like love now feels like suffocation. The more he tries to control her, the more she resents him. Women, especially. Younger women do not want to feel like they are being treated as property. They want to choose a man, not feel owned by one. She naturally looks for an emotional or physical escape when she starts feeling trapped. And ironically, the very thing he feared the most. Losing her is now becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. A man who truly understands attraction knows that control is an illusion. He cannot force a woman to stay. He cannot demand her loyalty. He cannot manipulate her into loving him more. What he can do, however, is trust in his value instead of wasting energy trying to control her. He focuses on being the kind of man she wouldn't want to leave in the first place. Instead of questioning her every move, he builds a fulfilling life without worrying about where she is or what she's doing. Instead of needing constant reassurance, he stands firm in his worth, knowing that real attraction comes from choice, not coercion. The most substantial relationships are not built on control, but on trust. A woman is most devoted to a man when free to be with him, when she knows she is not being held there by fear, pressure, or obligation, but by genuine desire. When a man understands this, he stops trying to hold on so tightly because he finally realizes the truth. If she genuinely wants to be with him, she will stay. And if she doesn't, no amount of control will ever change that conclusion. The true key to attraction as an older man age is not the problem. Mindset is a man in his 40s. 50ths or even 60ths can be just as attractive, if not more, than his younger counterparts. But the secret doesn't lie in chasing youth, overcompensating with wealth, or controlling a woman's choices. Instead, true attraction comes from embracing who you are, owning your experience, and moving through the world with confidence, presence, and self-awareness. Women are naturally drawn to men who radiate strength, not through force or arrogance, but through quiet confidence and unwavering self-respect. The most attractive older men are those who lead without controlling, creating an environment where a woman wants to stay, not where she feels trapped, who inspire without lecturing, valuing her thoughts and experiences instead of constantly trying to teach, hurt, who remain grounded in who they are, not needing to pretend to be younger, flash their wealth, or seek constant validation because their life itself is proof of their value. When a man understands this, he stops making the critical mistakes that push younger women away. Instead of trying too hard to impress, he becomes a man who naturally draws others in. And the best part, this shift in mindset doesn't just improve his dating life. It transforms every area of his existence, from career success to personal fulfillment. So now, I want to hear from you. Have you noticed these patterns in older men, or even in yourself? What lessons have you learned about attraction, confidence, and self-growth? Share your thoughts in the comments below so we can continue this conversation. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you find this video helpful. There's so much more to uncover about relationships, self-mastery, and the psychology of attraction. See you in the next